So I have these clients, they're a young couple, they're living in their cool Buckhead condo down in the city. Buckhead sits just north within Atlanta, and it's this cool 15-foot ceilings, exposed brick. They love the diversity of living in the city. They love some of the trendiness. They love the unique restaurants, all those type of things, but they're getting married, they're thinking of a family, and so they want to move to the northern suburbs of Atlanta. So we're trying to think, what is a great place that has good diversity? Their dining options are outside of other than just Chili's and Applebee's. There's a cool downtown area to hang out in, and they have somewhat of a budget of $500,000, but want to get a great house. We're going to go take a look at Lawrenceville. So whether thinking about moving to Lawrenceville from somewhere else in the state, or if you're out of state, you're thinking about moving to Lawrenceville, if you're thinking about buying an investment property, maybe this is your first home, this video is for you. It's all about everything that you need to know when considering moving and living in Lawrenceville, Georgia. Hi, my name is Rip Pruitt, aka Rip the Realtor, and my channel is all about moving and living in the Atlanta area and the northern suburbs of Atlanta. So hope you like my videos. Love for you to subscribe. And if you're thinking about moving here, reach out. Now, Lawrenceville, if you didn't know, is also home to some famous people. Woo! That's right, Ric Flair, the man, the myth, the legend. He's from Lawrenceville, Georgia. You also may know of a little trio of some hip hop folks named the Migos. They are from Lawrenceville as well. So Lawrenceville, pretty famous place. Thanks, Ric Flair. Thanks, Migos. Lawrenceville is also, if you didn't know, the Gwinnett County seat is like the capital of the county. Now, I'm not talking about this county seat, though that county seat did have some super cool trendy clothes in the 80s or 90s that I frequented. Though that county seat did have some cool clothes back in the 80s and 90s that I gave a lot of money to shopping there. Now, let's talk about the location of Lawrenceville. Again, it's another great north, kind of more eastern suburb of Atlanta, not too far from Atlanta. It's not too far from Interstate 85. Interstate 85 is not necessarily running just right through Lawrenceville, but you can get to Lawrenceville pretty quickly from Interstate 85. A pretty big highway that does run through there is 316. 316, that's also going to get you to those Saturday Georgia Bulldog football games. That runs all the way up to Athens, and usually the best route coming from Atlanta to get to Athens, Georgia for those Bulldog games is going down 316. But as you see, there's also some great communities that border Lawrenceville. You've got Suwanee, great community. We'll talk about Suwanee, how it compares to Lawrenceville later on in the video. You've also got Grayson is a great community that borders it. It's not as close to Lake Lanier as some of the other suburbs of Atlanta that we've talked about. You're still only about 30 minutes to get to parts of the lake to play in, to go boating. But again, it's not what you would call a lake town or a boating town. So in my last video, we did talk about that Buford is one of those last lake towns, meaning as you're coming up from Atlanta heading north to Lake Lanier, it's one of those last developed towns that hits Lake Lanier. Now, Lawrenceville, again, it's not really a lake town, but it borders Buford, just to give you an idea of proximity. So Lawrenceville, again, you can enjoy all the pros and the luxuries of Lake Lanier, but it's going to be a little bit more of a drive than, say, the city of Buford. So let's talk about Lawrenceville population. It's pretty in sync with some of the surrounding cities. It's similar in size as, say, like a Suwanee that borders Lawrenceville. So in 2022, population was right at 31,000. So still, it's a good sized city for it being a suburban city, but it's not anything crazy like Atlanta, obviously. Now, Niche gives it an overall grade of B+, and I know a lot of these cities, that I've been doing here recently, like Duluth and Swanee, we're coming with a grade A from Niche. Now, I don't know if they missed the mark on Lawrenceville, but if you look up Lawrenceville, it's got over 4 stars with almost 500 reviews. And so if you look at the reviews of Lawrenceville by the people that live there, they love the town. So Niche, maybe take a little closer look. Give us a little bit better grade than B+. So let's talk about the schools in Lawrenceville. So not only do you have some great choices of public schools in Lawrenceville, there's also some choices with private schools. There's even some colleges within Lawrenceville. You've got Gwinnett Technical. You've got Gwinnett College. Collins Hill High School is one of the main high schools in Lawrenceville. They hold the 7A 2021 state championship title in football. So whenever that happens in Georgia, if the school's not great already, you'll start seeing that school get really well. So whenever a school in Georgia wins a state title in football, if that school is not great, you really start to see that school improve, because in Georgia, football is huge. Money comes in from football, the school gets nicer, more teachers are drawn there, more students are drawn there. Football can really set the tone in a high school in Georgia, and so Collins Hill is now doing that. Now, there's all kinds of great things to do in Lawrenceville as well. One thing that's located in Lawrenceville is the Gwinnett Stripers. They are the Braves feeder team. It's a AAA affiliate. The Coolray field that they have their games at is just right down the road. There's a great vibe at Coolray. You can sit in seats. You can sit out in the outfield on the grassy bank. They have also now developed around Coolray, so there's some living options. There's some places that you can live in where from the balcony you can see the game. So it's just a great little mini vibe of a baseball area, fan central, just great place to hang out. I don't even know where I'm going with that. I just started letting words come out of my mouth. But Gwinnett Stripers is definitely an awesome place to catch a game. I can't talk about things to do in Lawrenceville without mentioning downtown Lawrenceville. It's an older downtown that has been just a lot of development has come in. They've remodeled a lot of the buildings. A lot of cool business has gone in there. You've heard me mention probably in some of my other videos, Boulder Creek Coffee in downtown Lawrenceville. It's a favorite of mine. It's an older house with this cool trendy coffee shop inside. Great baked goods. That's my weakness, coffee and sweets. So if you come down to Georgia, I'll probably take you out to some kind of coffee shop or donut shop. Also downtown, McCrae's Tavern. It's a very good restaurant. They've got a huge variety on their menu. What jumps out to me about McCrae's is they have a rooftop area. You can go and eat on the rooftop, have some drinks on the rooftop. Cool little view of downtown Lawrenceville. Also, while downtown Lawrenceville, you've got to check out Local Republic. It's just a cool little tavern. They've got some of the best burgers in Lawrenceville. Go get the Mr. Jones. It's got pimento cheese on it. Maybe it's a Georgia thing. I'm not even a huge pimento cheese fan, but you throw that on this burger and I am all in. So check out that place as well. Great dining downtown Lawrenceville. If you've seen any of my other videos on towns in Gwinnett County, you've heard me talking about how awesome the parks are in Gwinnett County. That I've got to say, I've got to mention this one. I know I'm beating a dead, nope, not going there. But even though I've mentioned so many parks before, I've got to mention Rhodes Jordan Park, really, because one of my favorite things, they've got this, I don't even know what you would call it, maybe like an aquatic center or like a mini water park. It's funny, if you go to the website, it just says pool, but it's this elaborate pool with almost like a playground in the pool. Anyways, just a great public park to take the kids to and just let them have a blast and run around all day, tire themselves out so they'll go to bed early for you and your spouse so that y'all can hang out and do fun stuff. So of course, we've got to talk about real estate in Lawrenceville. Now, people love real estate in Lawrenceville for a few reasons. Here's a quick example. Just picked out some new clients, a young couple. It's their first home. They have a limited budget. They're trying to buy a 3-bedroom home with $350,000. We're going to Lawrenceville because Lawrenceville has great value. And we're going to talk about more than that in just a little bit. But also, let's talk about why Lawrenceville real estate is great. So again, close proximity to Atlanta. We're seeing all kinds of growth in Atlanta. We're seeing growth in the entertainment industry in Atlanta. There's a huge hip hop scene, music scene. There's a huge movie and TV show, film scene going on in Atlanta. We're seeing a lot of big business just coming in. We're seeing Microsoft coming in on the west side. We're just seeing all this development in Atlanta. And when that goes on, we see it start to push out. And so then we start to see growth in Gwinnett County, and we're seeing all these different things, and that overflows to Lawrenceville. And so Lawrenceville is one of those northern suburban areas that still is connected to Atlanta because of proximity, but is a separate suburb that is still great value. Because so many of these northern suburbs, they're starting to get more and more expensive. Lawrenceville is too, but it's one of the kind of the last most northern suburbs before we get away from that vibe of being like a city suburb, because then you'll start getting more rural. So Lawrenceville is one of those last places that's got great value, and you'll see why here in just a second. I would say northern Atlanta suburbs, Lawrenceville, best value. There you are. Bold statement. You heard it here first. Actually, somebody else might have said it, and maybe you heard it here like 32nd time. I don't know. But let me show you why. So if you look at the average sales price for a detached home in Lawrenceville, is $417,000. Now they are 17% increase year over year, which has been great to see that home value steadily climbing. A year ago, we were looking average home price around $358,000. Again, now it's sitting at $417,000. So here's one of the reasons that I say North Atlanta suburbs best value is Lawrenceville, Georgia, is let's look at Swanee that borders Lawrenceville. It's right there. So average home price in Swanee today is $684,000. You compare that to a $417,000, you're talking about a $250,000 difference. You tell me, you think Lawrenceville has good value? It's got great value, and it's a great town to live in. Plenty of things to do. Great place for a family. Great schools. Great parks. Great shopping. It's just a great city overall. Average days on the market in September. That's the last month we have data for because we're still in October right now. It's 15 days on the market. We're starting to see a little bit slower days on the market in October, so I definitely expect that statistic to change once we get October's numbers. So great time to buy in Lawrenceville as well. So if you are considering Lawrenceville, remember, depending on what you're into, what kind of hobbies you have, what kind of likes, dislikes, whether that's you're a family moving there and you're really looking at schools, you're somebody who's super active that's looking for somewhat of a nightlife, or maybe you're someone who really love that downtown vibe, or you're even looking to get a little bit more rural and kind of on the outskirts of things. Lawrenceville kind of has all those, but it depends on the area that you go to in Lawrenceville. You can't pick a spot on the map in Lawrenceville and think you're going to get all these things. There's different sides to Lawrenceville. Like I said, Lawrenceville is a pretty big town with 31,000 population. So you need to know where you're going. So if you are curious or you're thinking about it, you need help, I would love for you to reach out, love to answer any questions that you have and be a resource for you when it comes to either moving to the Atlanta area of Georgia or Lawrenceville specifically. So would love for you to subscribe. Hope you enjoyed my video on living in Lawrenceville, Georgia. Rip the Realtor. Love y'all. Reach out.